Tankafets, a.k.a. YeYe, as they're going by. Who knows? Anyways, we've already had a very entertaining game number 1 there, of course. Some fun picks. With the new patch obviously hitting just yesterday, the big patch that is. And this is just the beginning of, I'm sure, a lot of great things to come, a lot of excitement. So the teams are ready. They've already jumped into the second game, Emperor. So
they've spoken. Ready? Yeah, let's do it, Breaky.
Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 2 here between Team Tankafet and Lion Esports Club here. Again, this is a best out of 3. Obviously, game number 2 we have here. Now, the winner of this, as you may have seen on the brackets, if you go to honcast.com, it's also on the forums, and we've been showing it here a couple times. The brackets were Stay Green versus Team Insanity, aka Insania's team. They're going to be playing after this series. The winner of this will play the winner of that starting tomorrow, which of course we'll also cover. So there's plenty of covers to come throughout this whole weekend. 4 best of 3s in total, all the way to the grand finals, obviously, and what is this $5,000 invitational tournament. So here we are, game number 2. What do we got already? Wild Soul Parasite, blind banded by Lions. Artillery Rally coming out here from the Hellboy side, and look at that. Myrmidon, the very first lock, followed by Pebbles Deadwood here.
Yeah, Myrmidon didn't really see any major changes. The staff of the Master one's that, but that's not why they're locking it up as like some response, like they're playing and just straight up carrying with them. I mean, at least I wouldn't expect that. Tempest is in the pool now, but there's not a Keeper of the Forest. That would normally bait out a Keeper of the Forest pick if they want to try to go that route instead of trying to find a new solution here, if there's any new solutions offered here in this new patch. Pebbles and Deadwood being locked up offers a lot of burst potential on either side. Either side probably going to be looking at grabbing, like, I would consider at this point, depending on what happens with the... What happened to the Rally? Rally did get blind banned out. Yeah, so he's not going to be there. I would say either team would be looking at grabbing that Tempest and the Keeper and either the Rally, not the Rally, the Pebbles or the Deadwood on top of that if we're going through conventional picking.
I'm also a little bit curious about the Parasite blind ban, honestly. Again, very powerful hero, sure, but it seems that kind of just randomly got blind banded almost. Well, again, I'm sure there's some logic to it, but just trying to think of exactly what, but... it is a powerful hero nonetheless. So perhaps just simply wants to keep it out of their hands and wanted to, think of another hero to blind ban other than your typical something like a Moon Queen that we saw last game, of course, who is still available, by the way. Yet to be actually even banned, so kind of curious to see how she ends up shaping up here. As Ophelia, Fade, Pharaoh, Master of Arms, and now Monkey King are the bans so far with 1 more to go. On top of that lock pool that we see, obviously, which again looks pretty standard as you were referring to.
Honestly, once again, with Ophelia banned out, with the potential to take Tempest if you want and force them to a passive Keeper jungle, I would not be afraid to man up against a Moon Queen lane. Once again, I would like to see teams leave it in there, choose to go aggressive instead. I do think there are a lot of great rewards if you choose to do that route.
We'll see. We'll see if that perhaps comes up. We got to find out what the last ban is here, coming out from Tankafet before we move into that phase. So again, the regular picks is where it seems like things are at least going to be interesting here off the bat. Obviously we saw right in that game number 1 with not only the Gauntlet, but obviously the Bushwhack on top of that, which was definitely fun to see. And although it ended up being on the losing end of things, it's still a new hero that we have yet to see on the competitive scene, obviously not even being introduced until yesterday as a result of the patch. So down to about 25 seconds of extra time here. Tankafet needed to make the decision fairly quickly. It is going to be the Moon Queen in the end, so not going to see her nonetheless. Another hero that comes to mind, Soul Reaper, was banned last game. Receiving some changes himself. I'm kind of curious about him, actually.
Well, I was actually on the fence that Soul Reaper didn't need any changes, and that change was a fairly significant one.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of that Soul Reaper change. Personally, I felt like it was too much. Some people considered him a niche hero. I thought he was sort of coming out of that niche role and just being seen as an overall very powerful pick across the board, especially given heroes like Wild Soul and such that are popular. He helps deal with them a lot. And as you mentioned right there, Soul Reaper is picked up, and the ability to give mana to his teammates now, I'm really interesting to see how that comes into play. If you guys do not know that Inhuman Nature ability, now you can opt to, when you activate your Inhuman Nature, you can actually have it start storing your charges, up to 10 charges instead when you have that. So it sort of works like how you store a Forsaken Archer Skeleton, in that you build up those charges, and you can use them either on yourself or your teammate whenever you want, and it's a burst. It's a burst.
So you can save up 10 charges at level 4, which is 480 mana, and then burst yourself or a teammate with that 480 mana. So
I mean, I think most of the time you should opt to have that on that route because you can always just burst yourself, and it's the same as if you were having it on the passive.
Well,
anyway.
again, and to clarify that, if you do have it on auto cast, it's literally the same ability that it was before. So
yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting, and sure enough, we see it here. Well, how is that going to be used as this game progresses? I'm definitely going to keep my eye on that. Whoever ends up playing it. But so far, other than that, you got, of course, what was the first pick over here for the Legion side? Well, who was it? It was Wretched Hag. Follow up to Soul Reaper Bubbles, and then Torture Magnus, excuse me, to finish. There's the Aluna final pick coming out here from our Hellborn team.
Yeah. The thing is, I would still, even if you're going against the Soul Reaper, I think his laning can be an issue. Well, I guess no one would. He could go, depending on the situation, if they man up, he could go mid. But yeah, no, set up 2 strong lanes. Set up potentially an aggressive try or a strong dual lane top lane that could be adapted to be really strong tops mid. Send the Wretched Hag to bottom, and that way force them in. Okay, they pick Pebbles first. I was going to say force them into a keeper jungle and actually just make the Soul Reaper's laning a living hell.
Yeah.
Is what I would like to see.
They go with Pebbles as that first pick. So, yeah, we'll see what our Hellborn team decides to now respond with. And again, also looking at that Myrmidon that was first locked here by Lions. Will we even possibly see him picked up? As you mentioned, it's got some changes, but it wasn't necessarily a change of oh my god, we need to start seeing him now all the time by any means. So, wonder about that still a little bit. But Tanka Fed, he's got a little bit of time here to go over who he wants to go with. It is going to be Tempest so far. You do got probably either Deadwood Engineer or it is going to be Deadwood as the final pick coming out here from Team Tanka Fed. So they're all 5 ready to go. And now it's just a matter of what Hanskin wants to do. It's going to be Engineer, it looks like, to finish things off. And, well, we got both lineups, all 5 good to go here now, Emperor.
Yeah, Lions opting not to go with any jungler this game. So we did see a little bit of impact potentially now of the change. Pretty powerful roaming lineup. Look at those heroes. Torture, Magnus, Pebbles, Engineer. And then talk about level 6. I mean, playing that carry role, Fundsmeister. As far as carries go, we know Wretched Hag is probably one of the most active, the most active of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can argue that she, in a sense, got a nerf as a result of the Hellflower nerf, taking off the damage amplifier. But still, it is a powerful item. But we did see last game, but played by Flensmaster, he even went the Lightbrand into the Grimoire of Power as his first item pickup. So kind of interested to see if that follows suit here into game number 2. So going to have a pause to start things off once again. But again, big focus for me is going to be Probusk playing the Soul Reaper specifically with that Inhuman Nature ability and how he chooses to use it with the charge up or not.
Sure. My focus is, are they going to be able to defend their woods? They don't have the best team for it. I mean, it's all right, I guess, but compare that to the Legion side. If they're trying to protect their woods from getting warded up, no. You don't want to go up against that. Now with the Tempest, it's going to have to get his minions at level 1. The bubbles, the Sword Bird, it's nothing compared to the massive amount of stuns and punishment they can put out here. So they're going to have to sort of concede their woods and let them ward it up if that's what they're going to choose to do. Taking it a step further, what I'm interested in most is that they've picked a lot of cool heroes here on the Legion side. They don't have anything that can really interrupt a Tempest through that elemental, the Trunken Head elemental Void combination, outside of maybe Hellflowering him before he's able to get it off in the first place. So I want to see how Tempest, in light of this, chooses to itemize. Yeah.
That's gonna. You said it though with the whole jungling situation. I mean, again, you just look back at game number 1 there. Remember how Tankafet playing Ophelia was here over on the Legion side. All the trouble she had for pretty much all of the early game stage because of that situation, from the Rev wards to the ward sites themselves. 3 camps in total were blocked, and it wasn't until 3 minutes in where she was able to finally counter ward one of the wards that was blocking, and it was just a horrendous start. So it does, you got to think, I mean, Lions is going to address that right away. And you made the point too. I mean, they chose to pass up a Keeper of the Forest who they could have easily ran as a jungle keeper here. Instead, they went with Engineer role and kind of switching things up. So no jungle. Yep.
I like the aggressive play, though, against the Tempest. If you slow him down early and he's having a rough time, I think they can take full advantage of that. So I kind of like that they chose to do that instead of going the standard passive route. I'm an old fan of aggressive play now, especially with the ward changes and what have you. And the bigger rewards to killing across the board, I want to see teams exploring that option fully. And before just dismissing it as like, oh no, we got to do the same thing, we got to go junglers overpowered. I want to see teams really, really push the envelope and try to make something happen.
All right, so back-to-back games here with the good old strat pauses start off the game, but it looks like teams are good to go now.
You know what this lineup reminds me of?
What's that? Which one?
Legion side, TTES.
Oh, TD Sports,
back
yeah.
when they were still playing with Slicks.
Mag
and
Engineer.
just five heroes, no jungle, just that can go around and smash. And
yeah.
that's definitely a very powerful combination with the rewards for killing and not just the rewards for killing. The refreshment rune makes it a lot easier to roam and apply pressure on the jungle too. Because if you're edging out their jungle, they're gonna have a harder time protecting that rune. And Tempest is not the best at guarding that in general, so they can do a lot of work with that.
Look at what we're seeing here, though. Bubbles is going to the top lane. It looks like our Hellborn team may have had that idea that they're going to try to make life hell on me in my own jungle, so I'm going to just go to their jungle instead. So what that probably means is we're going to end up seeing Tempest in their jungle and a Luna Deadwood lane bottom, I would think, and then Soul Reaper mid is what I would think. I mean,
Tempest is going to be forced back into his own side, though, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What they could hope to try to achieve with that is maybe a surprise gank. He hits level 2 or 3 in combination with this Luna Deadwood. They can get a quick kill on their solo, who is going to be a Wretched Hag, pretty squishy. If they get that lockdown, a quick Luna stun into the Rotten Grasp, into even 1 second Tempest stun, depending on how it's timed and their positioning, they might be able to get a kill off and then maybe roam back to the woods from there, because it's going to take a little bit of time before the Legion side is able to adjust.
Yeah.
In middle lane, we see a Soul Reaper here, and given the aggressive gank potential of this team and the fact that that Soul Reaper I would hope to see heavily punished in this matchup.
How so?
Well, I mean, he has no escape mechanism. He's going up against the Pebbles with the roam ring potential of a Magnus and an Engineer.
Yeah.
This is spelling potential defeat.
Gotcha. So, bottom lane, though, Flensmeister is going to just hang out in the jungle situation, or in his own trees, really, until he really figures out, well, what the hell is going on here. And obviously for the better, as you see, Deadwood, sure enough, is going to be down here. Luna kind of running around, trying to find that Wretched Hag, and then Tempest is going to be in the jungle starting off work. Now, Panty did place a ward of sight very defensively in their own jungle initially to kind of get an idea of how Lions was looking early on. So no doubt that got them some decent information, and maybe even was able to see them run over here to place this ward of Rev in this camp. So I wonder if that's eventually going to be countered. Obviously, if Tempest isn't going to be in the jungle, at least initially, then it's definitely not even worth it in the end. But for now, Tempest having a good time. You do see Wretched Hag getting a couple of creep kills here, but now Flensmeister will have to worry a little bit about falling back. Granted, she's putting in some auto attacks here into Aluna, and going to get Aluna actually to fall back himself. So Panty does need to be a little bit careful. Last thing you want is a 2 versus 1 to completely turn around and give up a Bloodlust kill. That just really throws things off the whole spectrum. So we'll see that. We'll see how it plays out here. Continues to again. Flensmeister did a great job last game, as he usually does, playing the same hero in the Wretched Hag. But for now, Tempest managing to hit level 3 and also clearing up a good amount of creep camps. But here comes the train of Magnus the Engineer. And this is where life is going to definitely start getting a little more difficult now for our Tempest player. So, Panty taking a lot of pressure, man. Careful.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm really surprised not to see Pearl being addressed at all by any team. I honestly feel like she is incredibly powerful. We'll have to see how it actually pans out, but not only having that purge, the pushback, incredible defensive utility.
Tinkafet in a lot of trouble right here. In comes the Kexat. Deadwood running over, trying to set up a counter kill. Yes, they will get it first. So Bloodlust kill does come out in favor of Tinkafet, and that's huge. I mean, sure he died, but honestly,
it works to his benefit because at this point he has 2 camps in his woods. That Road of Revelation blocking that hard camp is going to die, and it's actually going to die. Look at that, Breaky. It's going to die right before, so it is still going to spawn on that side. His jungling is not going to be really affected at all. That ward that's blocking the camp, the medium camp there too, in the top woods, that is a very easy to counter ward spot. It's very detectable. 100% chance there's a ward there if they're blocking that camp pretty much. So.
Very interesting. So good job right there coming out from Tempest and the team. I mean, also you got to also question Lionel. I mean, they just simply didn't maybe estimate the power of the elementals correctly there.
I credit honestly the Tempest more than anything. This is the composure he had when he was getting ganked by 3 heroes to get that turnaround kill. Meanwhile, we talked about punishing the Soul Reaper, and
oh my god, he's gonna live.
Really,
geez.
the turret, man, the turret's still up.
The illusion almost got
No, the turret's still up.
Wow, you're right. Wow. I'm not sure why we saw no tier Seal Kid. Not known for making mistakes, man.
Well, it goes back to safety. It goes back to just seal the deal. Seal the deal, Seal Kid. Just get that kill. We saw the ultimates being used to seal the deal before. It's always worth it, especially if you're trying to punish an early team that they had that start from the Tempest. Tempest is now roaming here to the middle lane. Going to see if he can get anything done, but no one's really out of position enough for him to make it worth it. Going to go back to jungling at this point, and well, choosing not to do anything about that one observer ward. Figures it's going to die in a couple minutes anyways, and he has 3 camps to work with. Actually edging out versus the Torture here. Torture is in a lot of trouble if he doesn't get back.
Yeah, Skyzo needs to be really careful right here.
No.
But no, never mind.
He got the nuke off actually onto the bubbles, reducing the
Okay.
low enough health the bubbles did not want to jump in with the giant creep wave. The timing wasn't right, so it was fine.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Song of the Sea either, so just didn't want to risk it
Yeah,
right there.
no.
You do see Torture coming over, actually. Nice deny right there in his own minion, by the way, coming out from TankaFett to prevent some gold for Skyzo. It actually is, we're going to try to get it away. One more auto attack into tonight, maybe. Nope, can't do it in time. So kind of just having some mind games there as far as back and forth. But again, Tempest having a pretty solid start right here. Speaking of solid starts, Deadwood nearly getting the combo off with the Luna, but
yeah, but you can't do that unless you're. You should know there was like a 0% chance you could land that unless because it's only a 1 second stun.
yeah. Unless she blinked late.
Yeah, unless you blinked late and nothing's in order otherwise. So unless he had to precast it and then get stunned onto the root as it was forming, more or less if you want that to hit. Otherwise, hold on to it or fake cast it.
Oh, Engineer dodging the shell surf. That could be the difference maker. Tempest in a lot of trouble. Tempest will fall right here, but at what cost? Bubbles going to go for the counter kill, but now Bubbles needs to be careful. Yeah, Torturer coming in. Chain reaction is not going to go off. Nice juke right there. Nice sidestep coming out right there from Fabelli, and that might be enough for the getaway himself. Shell surf doesn't have enough mana for it just yet. When he's 150, barely has it. Take cover. Shell surf is up, but not going to be able to get it off in time, and it's smackdown kill coming out for Skyzo. Emperor, you sound a little frustrated from the play right there.
No, it's okay. I mean, no boots speed, torture stun. You are pretty much guaranteed to land it. He was this. If he aimed on the center of the hero per se, but I know those moments where you're like, okay, he's going this way. There's no way he's going to turn around because if he turns around, he's going to die anyway. So he aimed it a little bit further forward. It wasn't like this horrible play or anything because Bubbles died walking back into the team anyway, putting himself out of position. But you can't really dodge that torture stun from that range. If he was to aim it just on the hero itself.
Oh, Wretched Hag might be in a little bit of trouble here. Now the Rock Grasp isn't up for Deadwood. That could be the difference maker. It won't matter, though. Down goes Wretched Hag. So good job initially from Flensmeister juking the Rock Grasp, but Tempest coming out of nowhere. I don't think they saw that coming at all. And down goes Flensmeister. And actually, this could set up a nice tower push, too. So Tempest is having some big plays here. TankaFett is early on. And again, what could very likely now be a very early tower kill here, as we're coming up to the 6.5 minute mark, actually.
Yeah, I like the little bit of a mind game on both sides, though. Tempest isn't doing his standard passive jungling thing. He's getting active all around the map, wherever he can, knowing that they're applying a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, top lane is receiving a lot of pressure. The Bubbles is probably going to go down here.
Yeah. Speaking of being active, I mean, look at that. Magnus and Engineer have been all 3 lanes multiple times, it seems like.
Yeah.
Going all over the place, so.
Yeah, Hanskin actually the lowest level in the game right now. He is playing secondary support on Magnus, which honestly I feel like secondary support's got a bit of a buff in this patch since there is more gold coming to the game, and they're not having to buy wards. I feel like they can get those items a little bit sooner or not be punished as much for roaming, so
true.
Definitely a good thing there. I think a hero I want to see potentially be used in the secondary support role, and I'm not sure that I feel like could be Pebble's actually getting harassed out, that I feel not going to get the kill there, that I feel could be kind of like what Magnus does when he chooses to roam, but offer more even, is a Geomancer. I know that sounds crazy, but his ultimate at level 6, you don't need to channel it to get it off. You get your stun off, you get it off with any stun combinations on your team that's guaranteed to come out, basically. It's something you can just put out there and it does something. Unlike that Epicenter, the Eruption, I should say, by Magnus, which can frequently get cancelled if you just use it in their face.
Yeah.
On top of that, he has a plethora of offensive abilities and a much bigger mana pool to spam that dig, the Sandstorm, and it can just set up more ganks in general. So I would actually like to see Geomancer being used. Disadvantage is the stun is not really as instant as Magnus is. So
middle lane, Falcon Punch gonna be some Pebbles with their Pebbles barely alive, not gonna be alive long enough. Tempest ultimate locking out Magnus will fall as well, and Deadwood stays alive throughout it all. Team TankaFett looking pretty strong here. All of a sudden, 4-4 hero kills now, and they're gonna push yet another tower kill here. Bubbles at the top lane need to be a little bit careful. Kegstun gonna completely miss right there, and the Shellstar forward away from the chain reactions. Bubbles should be fine in the end, as the middle tower is gonna fall in favor of the Hellborn side. So just over 8 minutes in, 1,200 gold lead, 1,200 experience lead just about. Looking pretty good across the board now for the Hellborn side. Obviously Torture at the same time though. Skyzo having a very good game himself. Looking at 370 gold per minute currently when it's all said and done. But definitely a good amount of action here early on in this game Fun to see. As by the way, also I've been noticing Soul Reaper is charging up in a sense with those charges. Obviously, it's only level 1 still, but she is choosing to actually charge it.
Well, yeah, there's no reason not to, because you can always just use it on yourself, and it's the exact same effect. So unless you're lazy or you're in the middle of a team fight and you want it to literally apply instantly without having to dedicate any presence of mind to it, you should be saving it up like that.
So definitely saving it up, and again, as she starts leveling up, especially level 4. And then the next step again is Will's, situations using it on herself or himself, whatever it is, or we'll use it on somebody else. So in the meantime, though, he does have an Invis rune actually bottled up here, so we'll see. Maybe make use of that here in the near future. But Tempest, Ring of Sorcery, boots picked up on him. Off to a solid start. Once again, it's taking about 360 gold per minute. So if we're going to get the Invis off just as he gets stunned by Magnus right there. And Probusk will be fine. And actually, they could set up for a counter gank here. 4 players are here from Lions. The only one not here is that Wretched Hag, and that's pretty significant. Pebbles is roaming on nearby. He's going to start running away, though, before he gets caught out. You see Deadwood and Aluna, though, coming in. Falcon Punch is up. Pebbles. Yeah, we see Soul Reaper coming in. There we go. Ravgas going to miss, actually. The Aluna start coming out. Uh-oh, I think they may have foiled it, actually. Here comes the reaction out for the Legion. Stalagmite's just out of range. And Probusk is still running around, though.
Well, it's actually good, though, because they're really not perceptive now. Actually, Panny... Oh, that was their Rev Ward, so there's absolutely no read on Soul Reaper. Can put him in excellent position. He'll be able to get 2 of his judgments off, and that'll be a 1-2
nice
fight.
Combo right there. Magnus stuns in. He does eventually fall, but he's going to stun off. There goes the 10. Boom goes the Dynamite onto Engineer. He will fall. Soul Reaper does stay alive in the meantime as Deadwood gets picked off. The Torturer trying to stay alive. Chain reactions, and he finishes off Tempest in his face. But at what cost right here? He's going to be fine. Nice Stalagmites coming out from Super KGE, keeping his teammate alive. And that's how the story will end right there. So a couple of kills coming out here for the Legion side. Tempest and Deadwood fall. Lions having the better of that.
Yeah, they definitely had the advantage in that team fight. Tankafet at the end there got a little bit too aggressive and ran forward a little bit out of position there, and thus they were the counter kill on him. The Torture just made absolute short work of him. Had he backed off, I did think they had the advantage going into that fight. I mean, Wretched Hag wasn't even there. The Invis Soul Reaper would allowed to get in great positioning.
Yeah.
Just not playing out too well for them in the end. And, well, all of a sudden Lions has a lot bigger presence in this game again.
Yeah. You see Soul Reaper, again, going back and forth here. It does have a regen rune bottled up, but if anything, this is just a pretty damn even game we got going on here when it comes down to it. Deadwood does have 1,700 gold saved up, so Creps in here. Again, getting very close now to that portal key. You see the triple stack Ancient's going to be done in the meantime. Going to be some split farm probably between Deadwood and Soul Reaper. Obviously, Deadwood being so close to that portal key, you would think you want to give him at least enough for the PK. And it looks like that is going to probably be the case here. So he should be able to pick up the portal key come the finish of those Ancients. In fact, there you go, 2,300 gold saved up, and the portal key purchase immediately after. So Bubbles, by the way, going the Strider's route. Vivelle figuring, I mean, he's farming 240 gold per minute, actually, so it's not like he's really struggling by any means, but hey, he likes the Striders, nothing wrong with that. Post-Ace eventually makes, so.
Yeah, we've seen other suicide players like Moon make use of Striders on a lot of heroes that people don't typically pick it up on.
And Post-Ace did get buffed, I mean.
Post-Ace did get buffed a little bit. I don't think that's why he chose to go. I think it's just more of a suffer game for him. He wants to be in the right place at the right time, and figures the positioning and timing of his spells is more important than a little bit extra HP and auto attack damage at that point. With Deadwood's portal key here, and the Astrolabe about to be finished up by Tankafet, I actually like to look at Deadwood's portal key, and if you're able to burst down a hero instantly before they're able to get any spells off, you can consider that like an AoE heal for your team. So you kill the Torture, you punch him down, kill him, he's not getting his chain reaction, he's not getting his agonizing bonds off. That's like 520 damage you're preventing from coming out directly. So that's a heal in a sense for your team, and the fact that combined with the Soul Reaper and combined with the Astrolabe coming out, if they're able to burst down a hero right away with that Deadwood, they won't have enough damage to get counter kills.
Yeah.
So I want to see them try to force a team fight as soon as possible utilizing this portal key.
We'll see if that comes out here from the Hellborn team, forcing that team fight. I mean, for now, Deadwood actually going to stack the Ancients once again. Get a double stack going on. There is a rune of Invis for him, invisibility rune that he'll just gladly pick up, and going to start walking around a little bit. I'm looking around. I don't see any Rev Wards. And speaking of this, though, I mean, something else to keep in mind is Dust. I mean, I know we don't have any Invis heroes necessarily in this game, but Dust, it got buffed, man. I mean, it's now even more of a useful item just not only for Invis heroes, but just in general for sight around you. It's actually pretty powerful for us. So I kind of wonder, you know, when we're going to start seeing that. Obviously, again, maybe not in this game, but with a game like a Keeper or another invis style of hero.
Well, I mean, it is still good preventing juking too in the woods. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to see a support hero just having a set of dust on him if he has that item slot open.
Yeah. Very
Honestly,
cheap,
I have lost countless games due to the 1 second juke into fog that could have been prevented.
Torturer doesn't realize that he's in a lot of trouble, though. In comes a fuck about Porch coming in, but it's not going to be nearly in time. Magnus dots in. However, the Tempest ultimate is... Oh, no, nice Tempest ultimate. The Capfill on top of that. Here comes Bubble as well. Magnus will fall right there. Super KG trying to lift, gets the chuck, the combo off. Not going to be enough, though. He will fall. Nice job with the kicks down. The Pet Blast coming out. Tempest trying to stay alive. Sword for holding his ground. Using the mana burst off himself. Power throw going to be dodged with the blink. And Flensmeister going to stay alive for now. So right now, Bubble's the only one dead. Deadwood is actually... where the hell is Deadwood? With
Deadwood's up in the river right there. Yeah. He's trying to get the pursuit onto the Wretched Hag, and his portal key is down, though. No mana battery, so he's not going to be able to have any application there. Gen Rune is up here, though.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's huge.
He might be able to... No vision. There's no way he's going to have the read on the Wretched Hag running that way, and that is going to be a reset. Very, very positive fight. I mentioned I wanted to see them fight as soon as possible, given that they had the team fight items, given that they had the Deadwood. Just a lot more protective ability for their team in general. I wanted to notice one thing that fight, the lingering effect of that Rotten Grasp. I mean, Magnus stunned in, remember, and then he backed away, but that Rotten Grasp was already on the ground for like a second, but as he was trying to retreat there, or back into positioning for his eruption, he actually got caught by that Rotten Grasp too, just putting him in an even worse spot.
Man, our Hellborn team, again, Team Tankafed here, 3,500 gold lead, as they also deny the middle tower on top of that, so things definitely shaping up pretty nice for them now, and with that, the YeYe Sports Club still has great things going for themselves, and Wretched Hag, speaking of her, remember last game one more time, I mean, the Lightbrand into the Grimoire of Power, this time, again, still not certain exactly what she's planning to go for here. As far as her item pickup goes, so we'll just have to continue to keep an eye on that for Wretched Hag. Talbot of Command finished on Torture, so obviously knowing what he's going for, and you could pretty much safely assume that Pebbles is saving up for that eventual portal key, obviously, as he does have about 1,900 gold saved up now, and very, very close, in fact, just over 2,000. Deadwood jumping in, though. Ooh, going for kind of a blind attempt right there on the yellow camp, but not going to hit anyways. It looks like it is going to be an Arcana picked up by Wretched Hag, by the way. Could safely assume that is going to turn into a Hellflower. Or dare I say a Restoration Stone Wretched Hag? I don't know. No, changes, maybe? No, probably
not. The Monopole. You need the Monopole. Yeah, that doesn't take away from the fact that you'd be a dead hag sitting up there without your blink mana. So.
Fair enough. Uh-oh, Deadwood running in. He has a free kill and engineer, most likely. It's just a matter of whether get the confidence here. Obviously, there's a lot of teammates
with the bubbles and with the pebbles there, that'd be a quick way to give them an advantage.
They do have a red power throw.
They do, but they just have to make sure. I mean, Pebbles, if they're all that close, if he's out of position even slightly.
Oh, the Rev Ward saw him right there. So they know he's here now.
Yep.
Yeah, they're playing very defensive, and he probably realizes that they might have seen me.
Oh, and Engineer has a Rev Ward right now.
Uh-oh. Deadwood needs to be careful. We'll see if he can place this in the appropriate position. He puts it down right there. I think he might be just outside of the distance. They probably even saw him for a little bit right there, but he is going to be fine for now. We do see Deadwood kind of going back and forth right here, and I don't think we're going to have any action in the end. So well, we're sitting here anticipating perhaps a big fight to come out, and all of a sudden both teams just fall back from one another. And that will be that. So.
Yeah, Shaman's Headdress is picked up by Soul Reaper now, and given the Steam Boots and what have you, could be very effective against this Legion side, since until Wretched Hag gets the Hellflower or evolves further into that late game phase, not so much in the terms of physical damage presence outside of that Impalement, so should provide a lot of sustainability to him, especially if Deadwood's able to get the interrupt on one of those heroes and not let them get their full spell combo off. So I do think it's another huge teamfight advantage here. I would like to see them press that advantage even more so once again.
Soul Reaper going the Gnome's Wisdom, Shaman's Headdress, looking to finish that barrier idol, so again, intrigued to see how he follows up. Again, that new item, man, the Lex Telionis.
Yeah, they have all their ultimates up, man. I think they can fight this. I wouldn't even...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not in position, though. Sure, why not? They're farming lights. But if they let them get 2, I think that's a huge mistake. I would go into these fights with full confidence, even though, I mean... The thing that can really screw them up is a well-placed Engineer ulti if they're not careful in their approach, but otherwise it's definitely not worth the trade. Bubbles is moving behind them here, and they actually don't have the rim. They have no vision of this Bubbles. This is actually going to be a horrible spot for
here
Lions
comes
to be
support coming in from Soul Reaper. Pebbles being locked out completely. Pebbles may fall right off the bat. Magnus does it, and Tempest going to get the ultimate off. Will it matter in the end? No, well, now Magnus goes down. Pebbles holds. There's that Tempest ultimate. Pulls in. Flensmeister says, gotcha with a boom. Goes to Dynamite. Down goes Torturer. And what a big fight. You called it, Emperor. A 5-for-0 exchange. A genocide for Team Tankafet. And 18.5 minutes in, the lead has just grown substantially here.
Yeah, and you know, they won that fight. Honestly, they killed 2 heroes at the end with the Deadwood Punch with the Soul Reaper ultimate, but they won that fight completely, and they could have honestly probably even killed those heroes without even using those ultimates in the end.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 major bursty ultimates they didn't even need to use to wipe the team. It all came down to the positioning. The Emerald Red stun popped out onto the Engineer there, 3 seconds onto Steel Kid, followed up by the Bubbles combo, and he was not able to get a single spell off there. Just completely wrecked. They were way too far up. They have no vision of that river, seeing the Bubbles who was sneaking up behind them, and they just absolutely got smushed there, man.
You said a well-placed Engineer ultimate could have been a difference maker. Hell, he didn't even get it off right there. I mean, he just got locked down.
Emerald Red. You know, you think you're safe because you're far enough back from the Luna, and then bam, it bounces right to you and actually punishes you more for the bounce.
Yeah, because you're in that position.
Just everything came together perfectly there for them, and now that they have the jungle advantage, and now that they're gonna be able to take map control, it's just. It's getting pretty grim. On top of the fact of all this, I've mentioned before, they have nothing to deal with the Shrunken Head Tempest, who is now sitting at 2,500 gold, can quickly evolve to that part of the game. Oh my god.
There we go again. The chase is on. Luna got a kind of deja vu right there, just trying a little bit. Tempest in the meantime going to be stunned in the kicks on top. Bayreauto going off there. It's an energy field, pretty good placement actually. Pebbles comes in, says skid over there. Soul Reaper chucks it back. You put out one cost. He eventually falls. Bapla is going to be using Kelfield, locking out 3 heroes right there. Soul Reaper is still well alive in the meantime, using the burst heal. He's still going to barely be alive. The kick stun hits him. Will it be enough? No, but not. He stays alive just more. Oh, the demonic execution just not in time, and he will fall. So actually a 3-for-1 exchange in favor of Lions. And we'll get Deadwood and Bubbles to eventually fall back. So good portents, actually, from Lion Esports Club, and they do make the best of it there.
Yeah, great portents. I just don't know why they were being... I mentioned before, they had the tools they needed to take total map control at this point.
Yeah.
Farm their woods, put up some wards like you're doing. You have a huge advantage at this point in the game. They have nothing to deal with the Shrunken Head, which now he's not even going Shrunken Head. He's just going to tank up further, which I don't agree with at all, because he could have spent 3 minutes farming and had it at that point. And there was no use for it. They did not have Deadwood Punch up. They didn't have the Soul Reaper ultimate, I believe, at the time. Now it is up. Maybe they had it. I don't know. But either way, the Tempest ulti was down. It just was not a good time to fight. It was not a good time to dive. There was no reason to, because they could have effectively gotten hero kills worth of gold just by asserting that map pressure and using that dominance. So, the
decision making, not the finest there, is basically what it comes down to. But the big picture, however, still is in their favor.
Yeah, no, it definitely comes down to just the leadership at that point and whether or not the team was listening. I'm always inclined to place the team movement decisions more on the leader, but there are times where people just feel like they have a play and they want to go for it. So
yeah, of course, that's the heat of the battle, man. It definitely happens sometimes. You just see that moment, and I mean that's what makes certain players so good at the same time.
Exactly, it is that added level of judgment that comes into play that is a major separating factor, because mechanically a lot of these players are on a similar ground, honestly.
Yeah, of course. Deadwood roaming around. He knows Wretched Hack's somewhere nearby, but it's just a matter of exactly where. Flensmeister continuing to blink around. She is going to be fine. Again, she is going for that for the Hellflower. Obviously, as we've been talking about, one more time to reiterate, it did receive the changes. You can call it nerf or buff, whatever you will. We personally think it's a nerf, and both of us it sounds like, but removing the amplifier, however, it did get buffed elsewhere. But look at that! Wretched Hack completely getting jumped on, and she will fall. I don't know how they saw her. I'm honestly...
There are times where if you have vision of a Wretched Hag as she blinks away, I'm not sure if she was on the creep wave when she blinked, but there are times where you get a snippet of vision exactly...
They saw her run up there, I think, so...
Yeah, and there's times you get a snippet of vision exactly where they blink to, if they're in vision when they do it, so that could have been the case where I would need to go back and, load up the instant replay here. No, I'm kidding. But not yet. But it's definitely something that would have been interesting to look at. Yeah,
no, that's huge. Oh, wow, Luna actually trying to make some sidesteps happen here, but Pebbles playing this very patiently, man. He is finally going to throw the stalagmites, and The auto attacks on top of the keg stun gets the easy kill. So obviously he's had his porta key for a while now. Speaking of porta keys though, Magnus just picks up his. So the secondary support we were talking about earlier because of the hero kill changes in terms of gold and whatnot. Obviously there were several that happened. A big one being the solo kills, grant gold to the whole team even now. But in general, anyways, he gets the porta key about 23 minutes. Not bad at all on top of steam boots and a power supply. Coming out for Hanskin here, so obviously big news for the Legion team. Sacrificial Stone just finished by Soul Reaper in the meantime. Usually a powerful item on him. And then you got Bubbles also. He's building up pretty nicely. He has another 1,900 gold saved up himself.
Yeah, building that Sac Stone just tells me they're not wanting to go for major item pickups. They want to win this game now.
Yep.
They don't want to wait any longer, so they're going to go for a major team fight ASAP. A little bit added pushing potential. Not too much in terms of physical damage coming out, though, from the Legion side just yet. Outside of the Impalement, as I mentioned, it's... I don't know if he really needed to go that route, but he already had the Barrier Idol, so I figured it was just a cheap pickup for him just to round out his items.
Yeah. Again, just a little bit of expansion to it, but... You look at Deadwood here, clear cutting through the trees, as he tends to do, trying to find somebody just moving up here, but... As you can see on the mini-map, it doesn't look like Deadwood is going to have any foes to jump on right here, so instead he'll just go to the creep wave and farm that up.
He did go post-haste.
I was going to say, yeah, post-haste picked up a bubble, so maybe it was actually a little bit of that logic there where he wanted to eventually get it, so started with the Striders at least, but... Again, did we see the change? Actually, ports here to the top, but in the meantime, several ports coming. It's 3.5 seconds, remember, so a half second longer. Wretched Egg trying to be locked down. Magnus, a big shot on top of the infield. The Tempest ultimate, though, going to cancel Magnus ultimate, and down he will fall. So a great counter at the last second coming out from Takeoff. Pebbles, though, jumps in a huge stalagmites. Hitting three. The Bat Blast, the Torture coming in, and it's looking pretty good on the setup for Lion Esports Club. Sorry for gets the demonic execution off. Will kill Engineer, but he falls shortly after Lion Esports Club. No doubt having a good exchange right there. Man, that was some great team fight going on. And they also get the tower kill on top.
Yeah, very, very well played. And you know, the ultimate did get canceled by the Elemental Void, but in a sense, he was already in deep on their side anyway. By channeling that ultimate and making it so that the only interrupt they had was the Elemental Void, he effectively just did get him to burn it for free because he was screwed either way at that point. So in using that, it was a great, great decision. Just another example of even if you don't get that ultimate off, it can provide a lot of threat and make the enemy react to it just by casting it. So even sometimes if you feel like, oh, hey, I have this ultimate up, they're going to interrupt it, you can do something for your team still by using it. So great play there by Hanskin. Huge Bat Blast being set up, great positioning. And yeah, I got to say, it all stems down to that bottom fight. They had a mammoth advantage where, honestly, if they just took smart fights, it would be, I would have given them a 95-5 advantage. Like, you know. Just
not so much anymore.
No, not so much anymore. Honestly, just playing it patient, they would have had that kind of a game, but not really anymore. And then the thing is about the post haste too is they were making all the fights happen around them anyway because they were grouping up to take towers, take pushes. I didn't feel like they needed that kind of mobility, so it did feel like gold that could have gone into utility items.
It's a lot of gold, yeah. Good chunk of gold right there spent into something like a post haste. So.
I do like post haste in general. I do think that, but I just didn't think it was the right timing to get it in this game. And okay, well there's the pick off this Bubbles.
Yeah, we do see a jump right here over the counter onto Bubbles. Bubbles does receive the Hellfire. Remember, no amplified damage anymore, but he is silenced in the meantime. Deborah being chucked in the air. Deborah trying to finish up Bubbles. Ground Grass goes off. Look at the kill, but he dies in response. Bubbles now being chased out by Russian. But here comes Tempest coming put down. He blinks out of it though. Bubbles with the takeover trying to live. The Astral APO coming out. The auto attacks now raining from Tempest. I believe Flensmeister is going to be fine in the end, though. Aluna does have a power. Oh, it actually, I don't think it hit, but it doesn't matter in the end. Down goes Wretched Hag. Great pursuing coming out here from the Hellborn team. And they eventually finish off Flensmeister, excuse me, while that was all happening. You got Probusk down here playing the Soul Reaper. He was farming up the bottom lane and continuing to do so. So that actually works out pretty well here.
A huge turnaround for them at least. Elemental Void is up in 40 seconds, so we can try to make any major team fight happens. Probusk very intelligently teleporting out, having the read due to the wards of sight being placed. And actually, did they even have a ward there? That was Lions that had the wards on bottom, but he just knew he was going deep in their territory.
Yeah.
Didn't want to risk it, and well, pretty much at this point, Deadwood's up, and it is going to be timing for them to push. They don't want to let this game keep going on and on and on. I mean, honestly, they're fine too. Soul Reaper can do just fine against all of these
heroes. I was going to say, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Well, their late game's pretty comparable. I mean, I don't know.
Wretched Hag's great, but Deadwood has the ability to just blast your Wretched Hag down until the point where she gets she has positioning from blinking back. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say at this point, but I would say that they have a huge advantage still on the Hellborn side. They want that shrunken head though on Tempest, and that's what's really gonna provide a lot of threat into this late game with their lineup. So, given the fact that he's only 1,300 gold off, and I know he's aiming for it now, he went that portal key because he was aiming for the shrunken head. So.
Yeah, definitely going to be picking that up. So we'll see. You know, as you mentioned, it's a 2,700 gold saved up and counting, going up pretty quickly. In fact, he's farming 375 gold per minute just about. He's third overall in the game. So we got a top in the game. Soul Reaper and Torture are kind of having a battle for that top spot. They're going back and forth. Look at Torture. We really haven't talked about him and his item builds, but, well, look at that. He has a sheep stick. He has another 2,000 gold saved up. So obviously Skyzo continuing to do very well here. He did play the Torture last game, of course, and also did a great job for this Lion Esports Club team. Sacrificial Stone just picked up a Magnus in the meantime, so getting some solid support item out there. And again, Wretched Ag has been sitting on the Hellfire now for a little bit. So back to the other side, however, you see the Mighty Blade picked up by Soul Reaper. So now it's her turn as well to also perhaps go for the that Shrunken Head route. Bubbles hitting level 16, also pretty important there. Coming out here for the Hellborn side, and well, we're only 29 minutes in, man. Again, it kind of seems like it has been longer.
I feel like, yeah, looking at the hero levels and just everything going on, it seems like heroes are sort of building up a little bit faster. I mean, the gold. Look at the gold per minute average on both sides. It does seem a little bit. It does seem higher. Just a little bit higher.
The change definitely feels like, I know it's only 2 games so far, but it does feel like from a spectator point of view, it feels like it definitely is having an impact, at least.
Honestly, just entirely, I mean, you can say that about a lot of team fights, but right now...
Oh! Wow. Missed that, but red power throw on top of Deadwood. Panny actually got credit for the kill right there, so...
He did. That Deadwood red power throw combination is too tough to deal with there. Haven't seen that new item picked up yet, the Lex Talionis.
Yeah.
People are commenting with Deadwood that could be additional minus armor.
True. That, I was thinking Soul Reaper too, maybe. I mean, decent on him, but... Oh, actually, Kelfield coming out right here. Wretched Egg is going to be locked down, and she will be picked off once again. So, well played right there, yet again.
Yeah, those 2 pickoffs were huge, and more importantly, they didn't need to use Elemental Void while they're performing them. Only 70 seconds now on Bubble's cooldown. Shrunken Head is now going to be up by Tempest, and, well, it's not really coming at any sort of crazy timing here. Unless I'm mistaken, does Pebbles? Yeah, Pebbles did just finish his Shrunken Head. That is going to be pretty important for helping him deal with the bubbles when he initiates, making sure he doesn't get interrupted in that process. But other than that, you're looking at a Torturer who's trying to get his Shrunken Head, perhaps. I would like to see a Portal Key Shrunken Head up on him, just for additional initiation, because I feel like whoever gets the jump here is going to win the game.
Yeah.
Bar none.
To clarify, I guess the more I'm thinking about it, I actually don't... I was thinking more of the passive side to the Lex Talionis for Soul Reaper, but I guess the use effect does seem like it'd be kind of silly for him.
The passive side?
How it just grants armor, magic armor, and...
I mean, you could make a case for that, though, over the Sack Stone in this game, maybe having a little bit of a versatility, given the fact that it does... I mean, it doesn't give you as many stats, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. Being not, but the on use, it seems like it would be not
given
the
that he's
best
supposed to be tanky, and yeah, it's
and he's more AoE presence than single.
It's not what.
But yeah, Deadwood I can actually see it on. That's going to be one of those items, though. Again, not only was it introduced in the tournament, but it was introduced to the game. I mean, no one. It's not like you could play TMM this whole time with like all these other changes beforehand and at least test it out. Literally, no one's tested it out other than it coming out yesterday. So.
Honestly, it does seem a little... I know it's an offensive support item, but for me, I actually think it's a little bit too expensive for having to level up to level 3 to get that effect of it. To level 3, even for the -5 armor, -3 magic armor, I know it gives you benefits yourself, but it doesn't... If it gave you like a smaller build-up and it gave you mono regen and health regen as you're doing it and then provided it, I feel like just for how much it costs, I'm not getting the vibe to pick it up. If it becomes like a standard pickup of this version, and you know, major player, then you know, consider me just absolutely stupid. Consider me wrong, but just looking at the item right now, I look at it and I'm like, that's a tidbit too expensive.
Yeah, I definitely just think it's a case of anything that, again, it just came out yesterday. It wasn't new to the game, let alone tournament mode. So it's going to be time before we start perhaps seeing it picked up, if anything. But
no, sorry, I know I was commenting on it, but looking at it again, it does effectively, when you use it, you do get zeroed out. It's not like you get negative, you know, 5 armor, -3 magic armor, but that's just canceling what the item gives you.
Yeah.
It's not actually putting you into the negatives of it. So I was considering it more in the fact that it put you into... So that being said, maybe it's not at that point. So
that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, Didn't hit me until you said that, so. Yeah. Interesting. Well, again, haven't seen it yet. This is obviously the second game we've casted since the patch. So still plenty of more to come. In fact, let alone in the series, let alone later today, hell, this whole weekend. Obviously, this is a best out of 3 once again, as you see on your screen. If you're a dude just happen to be tuning in, Lion Esports Club is currently up 1-0 over Team Tanka Fett. But game number 2 has definitely been a pretty nice battle between these two teams. If anything, Team Tanka Fett has had the advantages. And as you see right now, the Golden Experience say they are in the lead. And in fact, having a token of life for Soul Reaper on top of all of that, obviously great news. We didn't even mention that, but the Conquer kill happening, of course, while we're going on about the new item. So another big momentum burst there. Look at Torture, though, man. Again, Skyzo, 467 gold from Nino has a Frostfield plate as well, on top of that Sheepstick here. So continuing to get massive with items.
I don't like the Frostfield plate pickup. I mean, I guess he didn't want to get bursted down by Deadwood if he went Shrunken Head, so he did need the armor. So I guess that's all right in that capacity. He's still very capable of being bursted down though with the Deadwood punch, followed up with a Soul Reaper ulti or even just a Bubbles combo, getting caught up in the AoE of the fight. I still think he would drop even with that Frostfield plate. So we'll have to actually see how that pans out.
See a push coming in here from the Hellborn team. Soul Reaper going to be in the front lines, of course. Getting the token of life, still plenty of time, 4 minutes 20 seconds here. You got Magnus and Wretched Hag up at the top side. They're going to at least apply a little bit of pressure at the base, but it tells me they're going to need to think about getting back here sooner than later, because here goes the knocking on the door of their base. Wretched Hag's still up here, but she's going to start pointing back in the vision of the Hellborn team, so they exactly know
Tempest should position himself back. Let Soul Reaper do the pushing. He's got a lot of heal. He's got, effectively infinite mana at this point. You can just keep on knocking at the tower. He has the token. Just let him play frontman. One thing they have to be careful of is with that token, you got to remember if you die with Soul Reaper and you're in that Engineer ulti, when you revive, you will be perplexed instantly.
Yeah.
So they'll either have to kill it or just make sure that his positioning is such that he's not going to be caught within the energy field as he dies.
Another thing to remember, though, too, on top of that, is that the Hellflower no longer amplifies damage. So sure, it's still great for locking him down, preventing the Shrunken Head and whatnot, but he will still be pretty beefy, and he will not be taking that amplified damage.
They have to deal with this Tempest in a way, though, and that's what they're kind of like trying to position for. Because if they don't get the jump on the Tempest, we mentioned it before and time again, the Portal Key Shrunken Head combination is going to be absolutely devastating. They can't do nothing about it outside of maybe tableting. The Engineer and the Torturer do have tablets, maybe pushing people out of the Elemental Void. Outside of that, they pretty much have no answer. So having to answer the Tempest is very difficult, though, when you have a frontman like Soul Reaper that has that token. There should be no reason why Tanka Fett puts himself in a position where he could jump.
See Soul Reaper again just going to fall back. Though the tower itself, it's still above the half-life mark, so not the biggest deal in the world just yet here for Lion Esports Club. And as far as the other lanes are concerned, I mean, they're not really pushing in necessarily, so just a lot of stalemate going on here.
Look at what Funzmeister's doing now. He's moving over to the top woods and going to start pushing out that lane. Ideally, there is post-haste on Bubble, so you'd have to be careful a little bit, but in general, confident that his team can sort of delay as he begins to split push here, but seeing that Wretched Hag's top, they'll get a little bit more confident.
You look up Soul Reaper, he doesn't even care anymore. He's just going to take the tower even right here and pound in those auto attacks. So obviously he doesn't have a Savage Mace by any means, but still eventually going to drop it here.
The reason Wretched Hag is doing this is because he wants to Shrunken Head. He's at 2,900 gold. He's close to it, so they figure if they're holding off and they can pick it up, that's going to be a major teamfight item. I honestly feel like he should just show himself on the wave and quickly burst it down the TP back, but I just want to be sneaky about it instead, so.
Yeah, TP's back to base right here, so Soul Reaper again going to continue to push it up a little bit in those front lines, but what's that?
Just look at the problem that Tempest is posing, man. They don't want to get...
Yeah.
Look at how scared they're playing. On top of that, with that Bubbles lockdown to just cover him, I mean, they really just have no access.
It's, I mean, your melee Rex is dropping, guys. It's, you gotta make a move sometime. I mean, it is only the first one. Here we go, they go! Oh, the chuck on the ball, the Pilgrim's right there, but he gets that Shrunken Head off the energy field, is down, of course. Torture gonna use the first penalty, but the Tempest ultimate locking down Torture. He'll fall, Magma's gonna be locked in as well. Magma's trying to get away, not gonna be enough, though. He'll eventually go down. Torture does buy back, by the way, but will it matter in the end? Soul Reaper is still full life. He still has a token for over a minute. The Tempest ultimate is down, sure, but hell, even Falcon Punch is up here for Devin. Oh no, the Border Keeper Pebbles actually going in. Down goes Engineer, though. Pebbles jumped to the background. The Pebbles on top. Will get the one kill onto a Luna. Will it be enough, though? Torture, the AoE damage coming out from his ultimate activation. Sorry for putting in the auto attacks, though. Wretched Hag blinking it aggressively, but she will fall right there. The deny on top of that onto Deadwood. Team Tanka Fett looking strong here and trying to force that third and final game.
Yeah, that was Big play. You know, you got to take that fight all back to the initiation. I mean, Pebbles he didn't use his initiation to do burst damage and try to kill another hero. He used it to put that Tempest, who we talked about could not put himself in a compromising spot, out of position, because he got close enough that Pebbles was able to toss him back before Shrunken Head was out. What needed to happen at that point is that Wretched Hag needed to lay the Hellflower onto the Tempest and stop that Shrunken Head, or else it was all for nothing, because effectively he wasn't jumping in to do the damage as such. So he had Pebbles' initiation wasted at that point, putting himself out, and it just didn't pan out. If that Hellflower was place, though, I honestly think that could have been a one fight straight through Lions Esports Club.
Well, I mean, you were stressing it all the way going into that fight. I mean, that was it. That was their chance. If Tempest does not get that Shrunken Head off, then they could easily win that fight. Because no doubt the Tempest Ultimate, the full duration of it, locking down both Torture and Magmus, had quite the impact when it was all said and done. So,
given the fact that Torture is their front man, yeah.
Yep, he has continued to have the best goal at GPM in the game. He's been battling it out with Soul Reaper, but especially after that fight right there, he is starting to drop a little bit. I say drop lightly, though. I mean, he's still farming 430 gold per minute. Very respectable. Soul Reaper, though, upwards of 500 GPM now, and he does pick up a Blessed Orb. So, again, many options can be made with a Blessed Orb, but in this case, I'm thinking maybe a Sheep Stick here.
Yeah.
As far as it goes, but...
If he does get that Sheep Stick, I would like to see him maybe get rid of that Saxstone at that point and consider, well, you have the option of going full tank or just picking up in your in-between item there, maybe something like a Portal Key to synergize with that Sheep Stick and the Shrunken Head initiation, because Sheep Stick, Shrunken Head, and a Portal Key, you can't really ask for more than that.
No matter who has it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're essentially a Witch Slayer at that point, so.
Yeah. The belly right there sending in one of his illusions and having it distract them a little bit, but not really the biggest harm done. They're just going to clear out their ancients and be fine with that. Soul Reaper, oh, he sidesteps. He also activates the Shrunken Head. So that will be a second less now on the Shrunken Head from 10 to 9 seconds. Not the biggest deal in the world, but the bigger deal is that it's now on cooldown for actually 68 seconds counting here. So actually the Legion team, they're going to try to take advantage. All this talking about missing right there onto Aluna. Aluna, though, getting caught out. Bubbles, these Shell Surfs not going to port in, though. And down falls Aluna. It is just Aluna after all. Tempest Ultimate is up, but Lion Esports Club, they know, especially with that Shrunken Head down with Soul Reaper, it was a good chance for them. So they capitalize for sure. And not going to fall back. Conqueror's got to be up shortly here with that said. There you go. Restoration Stone picked up by Tempest. Man, he is farming very well.
Yeah, so are the spirits of Team Tankafet over there, or the YeYes, or whatever alias they're choosing to go by. It sounds like it's the YeYes, so I'm just going to call them the YeYes. YeYes? YeYes, okay.
Oh, Pebbles jumping in.
That's not good.
Take over. Nice! Portal Key. Oh, the big Tempest Ultimate hitting 4 heals right there. Kevin on top. In comes down with Daggles in there. The double Tempest Ultimate, and just like that, Lion Esports Club, 4 to the 5 are dead. GG's being called, and the game is over. We are going to a third and final game. That's the power of a double Tempest Ultimate. Big plays from Tankafet.
Yeah, I felt like there was a point in that game where Lions was looking pretty strong. What was that monumental team fight, though? Because they did even it out. There was a point where they had a huge advantage. It was that bottom fight. It was that bottom fight where they got way too confident. Remember,
where they tried to chase
the Luna did the juke back. He tried to actually get Magmus to stun. He ran at him into stun range and then used his teleport back, and they didn't even care. They're like, okay, we're just going to go smash you.
Yeah.
And that's what it came down to in the end. But still, they were able to pull it back together. Obviously having a very powerful team makeup, and Deadwood still proving to be an incredibly powerful hero. Not that he was given any nerfs at all. Still laid down the hurt, man. And I'm excited to see a Game 3. Maybe we'll see at this point. I want to see the Pearl. I want to see the Lodestone, especially.
Again, so do I. This is just the beginning. We got to keep telling ourselves that. This is just literally the first series.
The other teams are doing it. The other teams are picking other unique heroes. I was watching the scrims yesterday. Other teams, and they're owning with it.
There is money on the line, so that is the biggest difference here.
It is.
We'll see how it progresses, though. Speaking of that, you look at the brackets on your screen right now. Trademark does take out Team Afraid, by the way. Yeah. 2 games to nothing in the other best-of-3 series that was going on. So, of course, they're in the bottom portion there. But our series is going to be going to that third and final game, as you can see there. Lions versus the YeYes, a.k.a. Team Tankafet. Again, Stay Green versus Insanity. That will be the later matchup today that we are also going to be covering. What's that?
Yeah, and take a look at the lineup there. We actually saw in the game of Trademark versus Afraid. They ran that Suicide Lodestone being played by Zai. They ran a carry Dampier, was ultimately building. He had the Grimoire power, actually, straight through, and they did a lot of interesting things. So yeah, we do see some of the new
Lodestone,
yeah.
yeah. Fun
Straight
stuff.
through
okay.
there, and
okay.
so there's a little bit of something.
Hellbringer, look at that. I like seeing that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Hellbringer. Yeah, they did not win with that game though. So yeah, there is interesting stuff being done.
Yeah. Again, this is just the beginning, so I'm sure plenty more fun stuff to come. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a short break here as always, but stay tuned. We got a third and final game coming up between Lion Esports Club and the YeYes. So stay tuned. Game number 3, short break. We'll be right back.